Hello chickies and welcome to the Fully Booked Penguin channel. I am Hannah and today we are going to be reading some indie books. So in this vlog, we're going to be reading some indie authors, indie books. I personally am going to publish my own book next year, so I thought we'd give some support to some self-publishing authors or little publishing houses. I always like to have a theme with my reading vlogs if I possibly can. Sometimes they just turn into whatever they end up. But in this case, I do have 3 books that are indie self-published. So we're going to read those 3 books in this little vlog and we're going to discuss without spoilers, and then you'll get my review at the end as well. So the first one, I've got the first book of the series, that is The Elven Alliance, and the first book was Fierce Heart and it's by Grayce. So we're up to the second book, which is Warbound. It's a fantasy romance series. I would say, I don't know, the romance is important, so it is a romantasy. But I feel like the intrigue, political intrigue and different happenings also have a very important part in the story, and it's got some more serious moments and sad moments, and it's not like a goofy romantic comedy. It's got funny moments, but it's very serious as well. So I'll go more into the book when we get to it. The next is by another favourite author of mine, Shea. Those 3 books are in a separate series. And that book is going to be United, which is the second book in the Pack of Dawn and Destiny trilogy, which is part of the overarching series Magiford Supernatural City by Shea. It is an urban fantasy supernatural romance series. And then the final book is The Magic of Sea Glass by Jenny Hale. And it is a women's contemporary fiction. I believe there's a little bit of romance in it as well. So the first book we're going to be reading is Warbound by Grayce. It is following Essie and Farandel. They are the main characters who got married in the first book due to an alliance between the elves and the humans in this land, because the orcs up above have been attacking the elves, and the elves do not want to be at war with the humans on the other side at the same time. They're like, oh, we are under duress. We're getting fought on both sides, so we need to make an alliance with the humans so that we don't have that trouble at least, and we can focus on the orcs up above. However, there's a bit of political maneuverings happening, some secrets that they're slowly uncovering. There might be some people who don't want peace, so they're trying to counter that. In the first book, they're in the elven lands, but in this one, they actually are traveling to Essie's home because she's the princess. So they're traveling home to see her family, visit them, and also discuss how these guns got into the wrong people's hands, because the humans produce guns, the elves do not have guns. But they were attacked by guns and they realised, oof, this might actually counter our magic some. So they're discussing who betrayed them in the humans and broke this alliance, or had their own plans in place. So that is where we're up to. I've actually started this one. So currently, we're just having a time because Farandel, he and the elves don't exactly like the castle for reasons, and so Essie is working and the family find out and they help out, and it's adorable. They're kind of awkward because elves don't like humans obviously, and the humans are like and there's an uprising in the humans because they don't like elves, and so there's just attacking on all these sides, but also the cute bonding family moments between the new son-in-law. You know, they're having a little suss out, but it's very cute in places, on top of all the stress of this uprising and the unrest in the humans. Tara's writing is really easy to follow. It's a really quick reading, even though she adds some depth to the writing as well. You certainly feel the different emotions and that sort of thing. She does have a few like abs and shirtless moments, but it's done in a funny way, so I can allow it. Plus, the characters are married. You know, a wife is allowed to admire her husband's abs and shoulders and physique, you know, whenever she wants. But yes, at the moment, I think they're exploring. And they came across a human inventor who's going to help Essie with an invention, and also maybe see if he can help Farandel out with his magic, or gauging his magic, or whatever. But they were attacked by a crowd of people. Something may have happened, which was actually kind of nice. We got it from Farandel's point of view. It is dual POV, mostly in Essie's view, but sometimes you get a glance into Farendel's, and I do enjoy getting little glimpses into what Farendel is thinking, because otherwise he's very, like, luckily Essie can read her husband pretty well, but otherwise he's just a stoic little poker face man, so it's cute. I think I only have 32% left to read, or just over 100 pages. I feel like because it's a series, it's going to end on a cliffhanger, so that might not be as fun, but I understand authors need a hook. But this is why my books are standalones, as in you get a full story. I might have a few threads not quite tied that can lead into other books, but you get the full story. Because I hate cliffhangers. I do. I know it's the hook. I know it's the marketing strategy, but anyway, I have a feeling Warbound is going to do that. But yes, very enjoyable so far and very quick to read. So we're going to continue reading, and I'll let you know where we go from now. So we are 80% into Warbound. Certain events just happened, and things, yeah, definitely took a twist for the worst, and I can say that I suspected some people, they were worthy of suspicion, but in some books, you can tell when the most obvious options, like, they're really antagonistic towards the main characters, you know that they're not really. You know that they're probably not the terrible ones, Are they good? Probably not. But are they bad? The real bad guys that are gonna mess things up? Probably not. So, unfortunately, I was correct. And so now, we're in a spot of bother. And I feel very sorry for a certain little elf man with pointy ears and long white hair. Platinum. I feel that cliffhanger is approaching. We're going straight towards the cliff. It's approaching, and we're gonna reach it. And we're gonna just be like, whoop! In the cartoons where they like run off the cliff, and then they're like, oh, and they pause and they look down and they're like, oh. I feel like we're just gonna be running along, and then we're gonna realize that, oh, there's no more book. I just want to go back to our little house and have more cute moments, but I know a book cannot just all be cute moments, can they? No, it can't, so we have to go to war instead. Probably just gonna read and finish it tonight, or I might get a little further in and go, like, too stressed out, and then I will finish it tomorrow. But I have finished Warbound by Tara Grayce. I cried. It was sad. It was a tense ending. It did leave on a bit of a cliffhanger. It's really just one big plot point that is just lost to the wind, okay? You definitely have to read the next one in order to get straight back into that tale. I definitely cried. Things did go downhill from the 80% mark. It was just, whoa! But still some hope there. Still some hope. Still some discoveries to be had. So it was enjoyable. I like how Tara weaves humour and sweet romantic moments and family into this political heavy war alliances sort of situation. I like how it's all melded together, so you have your moments of light between all the anxiety of, all that. I had a fun time. I rated it at 4.5. Yeah, I just love Essie and Farendel's little relationship, and then the two different families. Essie's brothers are great. 10 out of 10. They definitely give sibling vibes. The elves, not so much, but definitely the humans have very relatable sibling dynamics. So that means we're on to our next read. And I think I'm going to go into a similar vein and go into United by K.M. Shea. And so in this one we are following Pip, who is a hunter. She was adopted by a werewolf pack. The alpha of the werewolf pack she was in has recently changed to Grayce, and she discovered that she might have a different vein of magic than she originally thought, like hunter talent. Anyway, everyone thinks of her like a little puppy because of her little talent from her mother. So So it's kind of cute. But yes, she's been training with them, helping them train. And after book 1, where we were dealing with werewolves sort of losing their heads due to, or their humanity, losing their humanity due to this drug, this time we have a werewolf on the loose that is turning the humans of the neighboring village to werewolves. So that's where we're up to in this one, I believe. We're going to see what's going on there. Also, a few revelations took place at the end of book 1, so I'll be intrigued to see how that continues. But yeah, I love Grayson. He's such golden retriever. Like, still, he's the leader, but also he's just got puppy vibes towards Pip. And Pip is strong, but also has her sass as well, which is what I like about KM Shea's female leads, is they have some sass and some banter to them, which I enjoy so much. So we're going to move on to that one next. From the tears of Warbound to hopefully the jolly good vibes of United. Let me get to reading that. I think we're going to have a salad. Again, yesterday I had a chicken Kiev salad, and today we're going to have a chicken, like, burger schnitzel with the salad. I enjoy myself a little salad in summer with a bit of chicken, so I'll probably video that as well. You'll get a glimpse of my lunch again. I'm excited. I wanted to read it as soon as I finished the first book, but I had to wait because it wasn't on my TBR, and I had tons of other books I should have been reading, and I didn't. We get to feed that wish that I had early on. Also, it's a really sunny day, so I'll probably be reading out on the veranda in the warmth, in between little naps. Okay, so we are 31% into United. And we've had some adventures. There is a little bit of recapping. I'm not sure whether we need that much recapping for a book 2 in a trilogy. I'm personally not a huge fan of recapping, just because I feel like the reader knows. But sometimes if you have a big gap between books, they don't know, and they might want a little nod, but not too much of a nod that you're just retelling the same information. Assume your reader is smart enough to remember, and then have hints towards it when you want to. I mean, to be fair, there was more information given this time around, so yeah. But there were just a couple of moments I'm like, we know this. We be knowing this. We've had a couple of Grayce and Pip moments. Not really that many though. A lot less than book 1. I think book 1 they were setting the dynamic. Book 2 they're both a bit busy dealing with stuff. There is an enemy turning villagers into werewolves, so that's not so great, especially since one of them really didn't want to be a werewolf and the other was quite happy living his little human life. So it says I have 4 hours left of reading. Nah, other than snacking, I really haven't been up to doing anything else. I've just been reading and snacking and trying to find new places to be reading. Because, my body's like, you know what, you've been in this position for far too long, let's move. So I've been on the veranda. I've been here in bed. I had a stint by the window in the lounge. To be fair, I did finish a book today and then, gotten through 31% of another, which is pretty good. Neither of them were super long books. I love some shorter books. I write mid-sized books myself. But I'm interested to see where we go. I have an inkling of what else might happen in this book. They're kind of setting up for one thing. I've got some suspicions too onto why and how certain things are happening. I have a very big suspicion about one, in fact. It doesn't look good. But we'll see whether I'm right or not. But so I've been listening to some tunes, and I'll probably continue listening to some tunes and reading my book. We're up to chapter Well, you can't really see that, but that's an 8 right there. Chapter 8. We've gotten 1 or 2 chapters in Grayson's point of view. I want to see what's going on with Grayson. You can kind of see what's going on with Grayson in Pip's view, but she has a twisted viewpoint of that view. I got a couple of candles in today. I have a berry and sandalwood one and a melon one. I thought I'd buy the melon because it was $1 and see whether it smelled okay. It's okay. It's only a little candle, so I'll go through it quick enough, but that's my update. I also got a little scratchy colouring book. You scratch off a layer and it reveals the colour underneath. I bought one of those books so I can audio book up some things and do it while I do my little scratchies. Gives me something to do when I'm listening to an audiobook and I don't want to use my eyes to also read at the same time. I use audiobooks as an assistant, so I'll read it as I listen to it. It's just to help me flow through the book. Sometimes I just listen to the audiobook as I do stuff. That's why I got the scratch colouring book, but otherwise. So I'm just going to sit here or lie down and continue my little read. I'm still here. We are now 50% of the way through. Grayson may be using his charms. And our poor girl Pip is very confused. And I'm like, just spit it out, man. Just use your words. As Pip has told Grayson many times, use your words. Usually that is when he's in puppy form. Because when he's in human form, I think she really would wish he used less words. Because he irritates her and teases her so much. I have suspicions, though, on who is turning. Who it is that's turning the villagers into non-villagers, well, pack members. I think I have an idea. And I think I know why, but also why. We'll see if my suspicions are correct, in which case. But I'm still very much enjoying it. The new members of the pack are really cute, though. I enjoy the new members. They are so cute, so adorable. So I have a few new favourites in the pack. Also, there's something living in the walls of my room, and it's making me suspicious. Because it will just randomly scratch on the wall. Which is creepy. Otherwise, nothing interesting is happening, so I'm just reading my book. Reading my book. I haven't just been sitting here for 3 hours. I went and had lunch. Dinner. I just had dinner. Completely different meal. I am 76% into it. I'm partway through a chapter. With my suspicions, I was partially right in my forsoothing. And I'm actually happy that I was only partially right. You see, I suspected 2 people. It turned out to be one rather than the other, and I was actually quite happy that it was one over the other. So now we're into the thick of the action. We've got some things to solve because currently things are going downhill. I'm starting to doubt the security and the, efficiency? The efficiency of this pack. Things keep going wrong, and I'm not bringing into doubt Grayson's abilities, but at the same time, there seems to be a lot happening, and they just seem to be all wiped out at once. So therefore, we're now waiting, and I think something else may have happened. So we'll see what happens there as well. But I have all faith that Pip will solve the issue. I have faith in that little hunter. But I thought I'd update before I just went out into the lounge and demolished the rest of this book. Maybe in this vlog I'll end up doing the next book if this one ends on big enough cliffhanger / I want to read the next one. It also depends on how long this vlog is. Who knows, maybe we'll get to 4 books, maybe we'll only have the 3. Stay tuned. I had to tell you the goss, the thing that I was half right. Technically you could say I was half wrong, but we like to be optimistic here. Even though usually in life I'm a bit pessimistic. It runs in the family, pessimism.
to be honest. It's not my fault. We are sarcastically pessimistic. We are humorously pessimistic. We're not down in the dumps sort of pessimistic. We are just, that's the way it is. I have 71 pages left to read. And I will check in probably in the morning. I'll finish it tonight. Check in the morning because I just want to relax. And I'll let the evening take me also because the lighting is just going to get worse as it gets darker. So it's better just to wait and do this next update in the light. In the light bright, which will be right now.
I was going to film this outside, but then somebody started using machinery. I don't know whether it's a leaf blower or a tree eater. That's the technical term for it. Or a lawnmower. Don't know. Doesn't sound quite lawnmower-y though. But so we're indoors. So I did finish Cave Shades United last night. And I do think I'm going to read book 2. No. I do think I'm going to read book 3 in this vlog. Or at least this month. Because I gotta know how it goes. Because let's just say it left on a little bit of a cliffhanger. Not a huge one. They solved one thing and then another thing was on the horizon. We had another little discussion happening when something big happened. I still love all the characters. But Grayson, like many other male leads, Grayson decided to put off to tomorrow what should have been done today. Under the guise of lessening the blow, he may have been like, let's not tell her yet. And then she may have found out herself. And I'm in the vein where I would rather just be told straight up. And I think Pip is also, because otherwise it feels like you've been sort of hiding it or, you know, but trying to be sneaky about it. And you should just be like, here you go. And let the other person come to their own conclusions. Because the reaction is going to be the same, if not worse, if you just delay it. Because other things come in when you hide it on purpose or don't openly state the truth. And it does involve her, you see. It does really involve her. And the feelings that are back then will be just the same now. Anyway, so I want to jump right into that one, but I thought, no, I should take a break and go on to The Magic of Sea Glass first. And then go back to book number 3. So you will get book number 3 in this vlog. Congratulations. The Magic of Sea Glass. I got the prologue done, I think. And so in this, we are following a lady whose fiancé passed away in an accident about a year ago, I think. But she and her fiancé ran a wedding, wedding organizers. And so she's doing that, but she never got her own wedding, so it's really hitting hard. So her business partner is like, you need to take a break. And she promised her fiancé that they would go to the sea at some point. And he wanted to just, pack up and live by the sea permanently. But he's like, let's go. Like, promise you'll at least visit. And she promised. And unfortunately, she can't go with him, but she decides to go without him. In honor of that promise. And that's sort of what we got so far in the first chapter. So, will I probably die will I die? I should hope not. Will I cry? Probably. So I think we'll get the crying out of the way and then we can go and have fun with the final wrap-up of Pack of Dawn and Destiny. That's the plan. So I'll probably do that outside because it's a lovely, lovely day. Except for the mechanical gardening sounds happening out there. Okay, so we are 38% into the book. I'm having an okay time. It is definitely a romance though. It is. There's just the cliche moments between the male lead and the female lead. It's also, focusing on her grieving process. A lot of the lines are very long. I don't mind a long sentence, but it has to have a certain flow to it. Like you're going along, you have a long one, but it has to have certain beats to it. And I feel like some of the sentences don't meet these beats in order to be poetic. Wayne poetic. And yeah, I'm having an issue with the male lead. He's using a lot of quote-worthy things. Well, he's just a sticky beak, really. He's like, I want to know you. I want to know you. I want to get to know what makes you tick. What your past is. Because in order to get past your past, you must, speak to me about it. That's how you're going to move on from whatever it is that you're not telling me. Is by telling me. That's the only way. And so she's just told him about her fiancé passing away. just the very basics. And he's like, you've finally taken, this is the first step you've taken this whole time you've been here. And that's incorrect, because she just told Mary, the inn owner, and I feel that was a much bigger, sort of more hard-hitting moment than her telling him. He seems a little full of himself if he thinks that he's going to be, like, her talking to him is going to be her cure. I feel like the book is going to back that up and be like, all she needed was this other person to help her heal. I'm like, and I will see. I could be incorrect. Also, she's helping Mary run the inn, but she's doing all this admin work, and I swear she's been there 2 days and she's done all this work. I'll contact the suppliers and all this sort of thing, and I can make out how you, like, she's set up an online filing system and everything that works, and it just seemed a little unbelievable since she's not been there long. It's highly unbelievable. If it had been over weeks, but this has been over days, because she's agreed to do this wedding and it is in 9 days. And in the meantime, she's doing all this admin, and it's just entirely unbelievable that she gets that much admin and organization and programming done like that. I know she runs her own business, but not that quickly. Not that quickly. We have a couple of bushfires around, so it's a little bit overcast. Hoping for some rain for those fires. Also, it's meant to have gotten to 39 degrees today, and everyone's complaining and saying, oh, it's going to be so hot. It's been 39 above 40s in other times, and right now, like, I'm sitting outside, it's really not that bad. The further away we get from when the actual high temperatures were, the more wimpy people get in Australia. Heat wave when it's above 35 degrees at night. That is not a heat wave. We had above 40s to 45 degree heat for weeks. Weeks. At least this is in Victoria. In other states, they may have right to complain because it's been that high, but not in Victoria. We have had cold days. We didn't have any spring, we just had cold. And then a couple of hot days, cold. A hot day, cold. And now, a hot day. And everyone's like, oh, we're trying to beat the heat, we're trying to survive it. That's my off-topic rant, done. You won't have to hear me say it ever again. So now I'm gonna go in, probably just listen to the audiobook as I read it, and yeah, see what the rest of this book holds. Good morning! I have completed The Magic of Sea Glass by Jenny Hale, and I don't know what to rate it. I think I'm going to rate it 3.5 for me, personally. Here's the thing, I think I would have liked it more if we had just stuck to women's fiction instead of the romance. I think the grief aspect and all of the other plot points were just stronger than the romance, and in the romance it kind of felt like the bloke was just reiterating what she already got from all the others. Only she was like, oh, this guy is fine. Also, the entire book covers less than 2 weeks, or 2 weeks at the very most, so it's entirely too quick for all that had happened to happen. Our main character achieves so much at the inn, and then she also takes part in the wedding preparation, and then she also has the film crew there, and then she's also, every 5 seconds, the inn owner, Mary, is just like, oh, you've worked so hard, have a break. And it's every 5 seconds. And she goes from just being bewildered to the most confident, accepting all her grief and everything in a matter of a few comments and in a reflection. So it just felt a little too unbelievable, the timeline, and I didn't particularly love the romance in it either. I mean, sure, Brody, I think his name was fine bloke, but to go through everything that they went through, just... Also, we got little flashbacks into a past timeline that ends up connecting with the current, but in the past, you're focusing on these, well, mainly this one bloke, but it ties into these other 2 characters. I had suspicions as to what this past timeline and the current sea glass and all that connected to, and I was roughly right with that. But with the emotional aspects, the conversations with the inn owner and then this other guy were so much more impactful, and I actually teared up at those scenes. But when it came to the male lead,
I felt like he was just sort of not looking down, but it felt a little bit patronising, like he knew best about grief and all this stuff. Brody is a great guy. He helps with the inn and he's always putting himself out for people, but at the same time, I just didn't feel that in those 2 weeks it should have gone from the state we were at with both of their emotional and I guess expectations with future relationships to what we were at the end. Also, I realised I talk from my throat a lot. It's because when I was younger, I felt my voice was far too high and squeaky. When I watched videos of myself, my voice was so high and I felt it was so annoying. And so now when I'm talking, I immediately go more throatal rather than up high. Rather than from the mouth like this, I go into the throat when I've been talking too long. Just a random observation there for you. So it's a 3, or yeah, it's probably just a 3 for me. It's good on some aspects, but the romance, which features for a lot of the big decisions, and the timeline kind of put me off the story as a whole. Anywho, so for today I actually need to finish Heir of Fire, which is book 4 if you include the prequels of the Throne of Glass series. We're just zooming to the end and reviewing all of that tonight in book club. But I also have lined up Fated, which is the 3rd and final book in the Pack of Dawn and Destiny series by K.M. Shea. We are just going to read it. Let's admit, I want to. But first I have to tackle Throne of Glass because that will take me a little while to read that. Can't remember how many chapters we have to do of that. But I should probably do that first, get it out of the way, so then I can just read my book until book review time, and then I can read and message back and forth. But I can read my other book while I'm messaging back and forth and waiting for replies. But really, I just want to jump back. I just want to jump into Fated. And I know Throne of Glass isn't an indie book, but it will still be featured because I need to read that first before this, or I could just not. Since Fated is the 4th book of this video, I probably shouldn't go on about Throne of Glass, but that's just where I'm up to. So whether you see my Throne of Glass videos here or in another vlog maybe, guess we'll see. Me 67 years. No, I have finished Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. It's now 3 p.m. I did some like scratch drawing things, colorings, while I listened to the audiobook and then made my notes, and I can safely say there wasn't many notes being written. I don't know, I like a lot of time was spent with Selena, who I kind of already foresaw everything that was going to happen. Also in the castle, people died, and I knew they would die because I'd foreseen it in the aura of the character. And I've got to say that Hale is still best boy. I hear there's a lot of Hale hate on the internet, and I don't get it because he is literally the best character. I did think something worse was going to happen with Maeve, but it didn't, so that's fine. I do think because we've left Maeve around that she's going to come up back worse than ever at some point. Plus, she also has all of Rowan's buddies, who aren't really buddies. I don't know what kind of relationship they have. They're all just brainwashed. So we're going to have to go save some of them at some point. But yeah, I don't have any great impressions. I was like, I've got a sentence sometimes for each chapter, because I just couldn't think of anything that was worth saying. I was just going to repeat what the plot was, and my friend knows what the plot is because she's read it. And I have nothing to say. I have no kicking feet. I have no big tears. The only tears I shed was for Marion, the nursemaid, or the maid, yeah. Because that was sad. It was. But otherwise, no tears were shed, because I was expecting everyone's death. And I thought Manon was going to make progress, but she did not. She made progress and then she backtracked. Very typical. Can't have a character growing that fast. Ress didn't appear, but, you know, there's still time, because Hale needs somebody to die. Yes, he feels a bit of thingy about Nehemiah's death, right? He feels a little bit guilty, but wasn't really someone close to him, so I feel like he's gonna have to lose some men or something. Also, rain. So I don't know what I'm going to rate Heir of Fire because dumb decisions were made. I don't really like anyone. Hale did something and it won my heart. I was like, yes, good Hale. I don't know how he remembered it in the moment, but he remembered something very important. Something or someone very important. So Hale is literally still the only one I care about. And rest, hopefully. But I think Grayce is still in the castle, so he could still be collateral. But that leaves me free to read some KM Shea Fated. Yay! After hours and hours, I finally get round to it. I can relax, probably go to bed. So I believe in the final Fated of the series, we are going to be defending our main character Pip from some people who were trying to track her down for reasons I can't tell you because it literally spoils the other two books. Hopefully she unlocks another power and we can be even more powerful. And we can rule the werewolf world. That's the plan. After that quick break to do some Heir of Fire, we are now going to finish up our indie books with Fated by KM Shea. Look at that post-nap flush. I'm 26% into Fated. There's things happening, but nothing's happening fast. Pip is doing a lot of reflection that she's had the whole way through the series. Pip keeps saying she's going to research something, but she hasn't gotten into researching it yet. And so we've kind of been doing tons of other things and checking in with the Fae at the visitors center where she works. And so we get little glimpses of what's happening on there, which I'm sure will tie in somehow. But at the moment, I just kind of wish she would get on with what she keeps saying she has to get on with. I have a couple of theories about what is going to happen later on. There's a few threads that I feel have to be wrapped in somehow, but I'm not sure how they all will come together. So a lot of different things are happening, which I'm assume will come together the further we read. We've got a few suspicious people around, and a few more attacky attacks, but otherwise, yeah, nothing much is happening. I'm sure something is up and coming, but at the moment, nothing much happening. Although somebody just did come to town, and I feel like they're going to have to announce it at some point, or she has to hurry up and do her research. I'm also using my little clicker. To turn the pages, but because I have the little clicker, I had my little clicker and I just zoned. I zoned like my little eyes grew heavy, and I just had a little nap. I did with the little tapper in my hand, and I just gave up at one point because the sleep was needing to happen. I do feel it's afternoon tea time or snack time, and I have a lot of snacks that came in this morning for me to choose from. I have a new Pringle flavour that I'm going to try, which is Korean something, or some crispy pea snacks, but they're more expensive because they're healthier, but they are delicious. Anywho, we're almost 100 pages into the book, and it's 361 pages long, so... But maybe I'll have a little nap and then a little snack, because right now, I mean, I had a nap not long ago before I finished off another chapter. But I think I need another. Chronic illness knocks you out, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll show you my snack. I'll do a snack review when I eventually decide which one I'm going to have. It is snack time. Time for this snack. And I have Korean sweet crispy chicken flavor. And then we have honey sweet chicken. Red Deli Rock. My favorite ones are either the sour cream and onion, or just original. Just good old original. The flavor hit right at the back of my throat, and it is slightly spicy. Kind of like it. It is, as I say, it's got some spice to it. Not bad. I'm pretty sure I like these though. Usually I try not to open too many snacks at once. Maybe there is a Shapes version, and I just got the Red Deli instead of the other one I remember. I like the chips of this one, of the honey soy chicken. So it's just that flavor on crackers. Both of them grow on you, the flavor. Like this one felt a bit bland at first, but after a few lots, quite nice. And then these ones, well, as long as you don't get the flavor at the very back of your tongue and throat and cough on it initially, the spice is just at a slight heat level. And the flavor is rather nice. Again, it grows on you. The initial taste is like, and then you eat more and you end up going through the whole packing. I did read a few chapters, so we're at 33% now, just so you know. We are up to page 200, or 56% through. And I just don't know how this is going to pan out. So KM Shea's done a good job. I haven't a clue. I mean, I have ideas, but there's so many different ideas of how it might work that I have no idea which one it's going to be. And I don't even know what's going to go wrong. Obviously something's going to go wrong. But what? I hope everything that I've been wanting an answer to gets answered as well. Because if it doesn't, I'll have unanswered questions. I want to see epic reveals for those points, and I really hope it comes through with it. But yes, 161 pages to go in the book. So much to be found out and revealed. Oh no. Yeah, I'm dreading one thing. I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but it might. Oh no. Anyway, we'll continue reading and find out. No. Surprise, surprise, we're still here. Update. We're 76% into the book. Things did go downhill. Not quite how I thought, to be honest. But you know, we're solving it. And with 25% more to go, I don't know. I still have an inkling of what might happen. But who's to know? Like, I don't understand it. But it might. Our pack. Our beloved pack. We're banding together. I do fear for several of them though. So we are at a point of big change, but also big anxiety. Big repercussions if something doesn't happen. I do have faith that KM Shea will give me a happy conclusion though. So that's the one upside. 89 pages. That is till I finish. And I might go sit out where the cricket and my parents are. The cricket might be over by now, I don't know. I'll go out there and maybe have a drink and finish my book with company around. But you won't see that. I'll just give you an update, probably in the morning, because the lighting is going to disappear while I finish this. So I'll check in the morning.
We are ready. She needs to score quickly.
We have finished Fated by KM Shea. I did suspect the main bad guy. I kind of couldn't tell anything else. I was oblivious, which is good. The thing with some of these KM Shea books is the main characters are OP. They're overpowered, 100%. Some of their magic is always happens to upgrade just when they need it, which I don't mind. I like books like that. I like when they don't have to sit on a struggle bus for too long. and they just happen to keep getting better and better and better. But they are 100% overpowered by the end. Here's the thing that I've realized about myself is, as a writer, I think of how I would have written it. And of course I'm going to like my version a little bit better. But that doesn't mean that this author's work is bad. And I need to change that in my head. It's like, oh, it didn't go the way I wanted it to. Doesn't mean that the main plot is bad. So I did have that realization. Am I actually enjoying the plot less, or am I just boasting off my own revised version? So I really enjoyed the book. I loved the characters, I loved the pack. Some of the emotional obstacles that Pip had didn't really make sense to me personally, but I could forgive it for the story. For my personal enjoyment, I gave it a 4.5. It was good. I wish I had the frequency of lawnmowers so I could just zone it out of videos, but you're just gonna have to put up with it. I was thinking about reviewing, because most people, when they review using the 5-star system, it's just on their enjoyability of the plot. Unless a book is grammatically incorrect or has some major issues with the writing, it's just my enjoyment. I mean, some people, they read it badly for the grammar or the spelling, and it's simply because it's British English instead of American English, and you have to explain, actually that's correct, just not in America. Or the other way around. It's correct in America, but not in Britain or Australia or any other place that uses British English. Because I know some Australian authors get that. It's like, this is spelt wrong or grammatically incorrect, and you're like, actually, no, it's not. But most of the time, it's just on each individual's enjoyment of a book, which can vary due to every person being different. And thus why sometimes ratings do not matter. But if you find someone who has similar taste to you, then the ratings can be helpful. But sometimes, like, my taste do not align with a lot of people, so we're just at our odds. And that has nothing to do with the Fated / Pack of Dawn and Destiny series, because it's rather well rated. By the way, I was just thinking about ratings. Of course, I really enjoyed my reading for this indie book, which I knew I would, because 2 of the authors I'd read before I really liked. And as I say, the Magic Glass one was okay. It didn't win me over as much, because I just feel it would have been better as just a women's fiction, or without the romance being such a big point, or yeah. But that brings us to a wrap on this video. Christmas is coming, but I do have one more video before Christmas, and it's going to be a Christmassy reading vlog, so look forward to that. And thank you again for joining me for this little vlog. Hope your own reading is going really well. Be sure to support your indie authors with their books. There's some real hidden gems out there, and I really love them. So until I see you in the next video, peace!
티니 로그 끝.